Hello, folks. Welcome back to the network, the KCSN. I got NBA Live going up here, or rather, the end of it. We just ended the Carolina Hurricanes Sim series, and now it is time to lay to rest this NBA Live New Jersey Nets season sim, because it has been an utter failure from every single aspect, and I did not expect that. So, as I explain myself with the Hurricane series, I will now try to explain myself with the Nets series. So, the reason I picked the New Jersey Nets is in this season, the 04-05 season, I believe they would go 42-40, and they would make it as an 8th seed or just miss it, I think. I think they would just miss the playoffs as like a 9 or something. And I believed, I was like, okay, well, if I resim it, then maybe, they could win a couple games or lose a couple games. They'll be playing some meaningful games here, in March down the stretch, trying to get into the playoffs, the NBA playoffs. But that, of course, is not going to happen because the Nets are terrible. So I guess the ratings for this year in NBA Live just really weren't they weren't too high up on on the Nets. So the Nets have the worst team here, the worst possible team here. They have a 69 overall, which compared to, I think it's not the worst. I think the Bobcats are the worst at 53 or 59 or something like that. And then I think the Warriors at 58. There's a couple bad teams in this game for sure, but the Nets are one of them. And it seems like the average is high 70s, low 80s. So you have 3 teams who aren't even competitive in this game. I don't even know why they would do this. I mean, I know Madden ratings get out of hand, you know what I mean, with specific player stats, but overall team wise, they're somewhat balanced, bro. Unless your team really sucks, like the '08 Raiders or something like that, or '07 Raiders. Unless your team really sucks, but in this game, bro, they did those teams so dirty. But looking over the schedule now, we'll go over the calendar now, because I am towards the end here. I've simmed a lot of it. It's unlike the Hurricane season where I have 10 videos that I recorded and just won't put up. I don't think I did much for the Nets. That was the other thing, too. The reason I wanted to stop the Nets series is because I did miss a game. I don't think anyone really watched that, but I did miss a game. The Nets were supposed to play the Kings after the All-Star break, and I want to say I recorded it. I know I did, but I guess I just forgot to upload it when I uploaded all my videos, because I upload them in bulk, so it is easy for me to miss one if I get disorganized, and I guess I did. So with the game missed, I'm like, the season's already a wash. So as you can see here, heading into November, the Nets... well, looking over here at our calendar view, the Nets are 17-41. Not great. It's not good at all. So I had this idea. I was like, okay, well, I'll just stop things when the Nets are mathematically eliminated. That'll be fair. When they're mathematically eliminated, then we can just put the series to rest, and I'll just say, hey guys, the Nets got eliminated. There's no point to finish the season. But here's the funny thing about that. I went to the wrong place. I went to the wrong place again. The funny thing about getting mathematically eliminated is that the 8th seed, currently as it stands in the East, is not much better than the Nets. So, I don't know why this isn't numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, the Bucks are currently the 8th seed at 26-29. So they are only 9 games better, or just 9 wins better than the Nets are. And we are heading towards the stretch here, the end of the season, so to speak. We're reaching that 60-game mark for a lot of teams. And so there's still, a good 15 to 20 games that the Nets have a chance to kind of surge here. We know they won't, because look how far out they are from that, but there's still a chance. And there will be probably until the last, 5 to 10 games of the season. So instead of dragging us through that to watch the Nets maybe win 20 games over that stretch, we're just going to put this one to an end as I reshift the focus to commentary, and I try to wrap up a lot of these sims. So moving back now to the calendar as I was going to do before I was distracted. So starting off the season in November now, the Nets opened the season. I thought no one was going to watch this series if they had watched those videos, because they opened this up with a 7-game losing streak. And that's when I knew I had made a terrible decision. I was like, oh my god, oh lord. And if you're curious about the point totals, I tried probably 3 or 4 different configurations to try and get like more accurate to like NBA real life stats. But the game just wouldn't do it. Just with the way that the gameplay flows in this old PS2 basketball game, it doesn't do it. So enjoy these football, or I guess college basketball scores. So looking at the stats isn't really going to be as fun as it was in the Hurricanes video, because a lot of them are going to be inflated because the Nets only scored like 30 points a game, which is just, it's not realistic at all. So. And it was even less realistic is that Jason Kidd scores pretty much all of them, so he's going to like lead the team in everything, and then like the third person in the starting 5 is going to have literally like single-digit points. I swear to God, it's not going to be fun. So, but they dropped 7 in a row to open the season. They get their first win of the year by a point, mind you. They barely won it against the Supersonics in Seattle in their last season. I think this is their last season in Seattle. So. And then they would win 3 in a row, starting with that Sonics win, as they pick up another win over the Wizards, and then pick up their 3rd win over the Nuggets, who are actually one of the better teams in the game. So that was kind of crazy. They would drop 2 to the Clippers and the Sonics. The Sonics would get their revenge before they would win against the Trailblazers, who they lost to at the beginning of the season. In their first matchup against the Bobcats at the end of November, they would lose, which is embarrassing, because the Bobcats shouldn't beat anyone. But we contributed to one of their 11 wins on the year. And then we would follow that up with another loss to the Wizards, who are also not very good, before we would bounce back and beat the Hawks, who were also not very good. We would drop 4 straight to the Raptors, Cavs, Hornets, and Hawks, who would get their revenge a week later on us after we beat them on the 4th of December. So after losing those 4 straight, we would finally pick up another win against the Knicks, who are one of the better teams in the league. It's funny, out of the 17 wins, I think a lot of them are, or maybe not a lot, but there's a few of them that are against like actual like good teams. It's just weird. But I mean, I guess if you play, the best teams in the league probably 3 or 4 times a season, you're eventually going to beat them once or twice, right? So we would lose 2 to the Grizzlies and the Raptors again, before we'd pick up another win to the Bobcats, after dropping that first game of the season to them, or against them, I should say. We would follow up with another loss to the Cavs, who kind of kicked the ever-loving daylights out of us in both of our games against them. They'd beat us 44-21 on the 7th, and then 55-22 in our second meeting against them. LeBron shows no mercy. We would follow it up with 3 more losses the following week to the Pistons, Bulls, and Pacers. And then we would carry that streak into January with another loss to the Knicks and the Wizards. So that was a whopping, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-game losing streak before we would pick up 2 against the Bucks and the Warriors. Closing out that losing streak. We would lose to the Magic on that Saturday, and then lose to the Pistons again before picking up a win against the Rockets. We would drop 2 games again. You see this pace here. It's drop 2, win 2, drop 2, or win 1 and drop 2. We beat the Bucks again, who for some reason the Nets played very well all year long. Like, I don't know if they've lost to the Bucks yet at this point in the sim. I think they've won every game against them. So our first game against the Celtics of the year is a loss. We would then go on this road trip that was not very good. We lost to the Suns in Phoenix, and we'd lose to the Kings in Sacramento. We would pick up another dub against the Warriors before losing to the Lakers in embarrassing fashion. And then we would close that out with a win over the Jazz, who are very not good. We would lose 2 straight to the Bulls and the Celtics. We barely lose to the Bulls here, who are in our class of terribleness this season. But we would lose to them again, and the Celtics would beat us again. And then we'd finally beat the Pistons for the first time this year, who had beat us twice before. We'd pick up another win against the Sixers, and then drop one to the Lakers again, and then drop one to the Spurs again. And then continue the losing against the Nuggets, T-Wolves, and the Kings. Or this is the game I think I missed, is before, yeah. They were supposed to play the Kings before the All-Star break, and I think I missed this game, I believe. But regardless, the All-Star game would go on, and then we would come out of the break with a loss to the Raptors, and then we'd beat the Bucks again, and then we would beat the Bobcats again, and then LeBron would wipe the floor with us for the 3rd straight time this year. Which brings us into March, where we have opened the month with a loss to the Sixers. So, what we are going to do now is we're going to sim the rest of the season here and just see how bad things actually got. So, I'm going to run and do that, and then we'll come back in and we'll look over the stats. All right, the season has concluded, and the Nets would win another 10 games and finish 27-55. End the game on a 2-game losing streak. Hopefully the stats here of the last month or so inflate the rest of the season stats to where it'd be worth looking at them, but I don't know. Yeah, so they would continue the pace, it looks like. Well, we really only have March and April to look at here, so what? So from that loss to the Sixers, they'd win 2 to the Heat and the Magic. They would lose to the Spurs, pick up a win against the Hornets here and the Heat, lose to the Magic again, lose to the Bulls again. Wow, this is crazy. The Bulls were 19 and something. We were 17-41 when I started the sim, and then we finished 27-55, and they finished 29-53. I mean, we kept that same pace. That's kind of wild. We'd pick up a win against the Jazz, who were pretty bad this year, and then we would have 2 straight back-to-back losses to the Pacers, which sucks. And then we'd continue that losing streak to the Grizzlies and the T-Wolves, before picking up our last win, or not our last win, but our last win of March against the Bobcats, who would get up to 19 wins. Good job, guys. Keep fighting. Good job. We would close the month out with a loss to the Clippers and continue that into a 3-game losing streak against the Knicks and the Magic, before we would finally pick up a W against the Cavs, who had a terrible year, dude. 31-51. Jeez. With how well they played against us, I figured they would have ran something, but no, dude, 31-51 for the Cavaliers, and we'd finally beat them in April before losing to the Knicks again. And then we'd pick up another win against the Celtics, lose one to the Pacers again, pick up a win against the Raptors, pick up another win against the Sixers, and then drop the last 2 games of the season to the Wizards and the Celtics. So, I guess I need to sim the rest of the season. I don't know if it's just going to snap to the rest of the season here. I don't know if it is. I might have to go to the rest of the league here. Okay, begin playoffs, I guess. Did it just end it for me? Okay, we'll just look at the player awards, I guess. So Shaq wins the MVP here for the season. Not really surprised here. It's Shaq. Look at that 3-point percentage. You go, Shaq. You go. But yeah, here are the numbers here for Shaq in case you would like to see them and look over them. But he wins the MVP. Most improved player goes to Chris Webber of the Sacramento Kings. I guess he really stepped up in this year versus last year. So good for you, Chris Webber. Keep doing the darn thing moving forward. Defensive player of the year goes to Ben Wallace of the Detroit Pistons. I love Big Ben. Love Ben Wallace. Love him. But he is our defensive player of the year. I guess we need to see here his blocks. I guess he didn't shoot that well, did he? Blocks per game. There it is. Steals per game. There you go, Ben. Our rookie of the year goes to Ben Gordon of the Chicago Bulls, who had a pretty solid season for the Chicago Bulls, who were awful. They were terrible. The 6th man goes to Brian Grant of the Lakers. I guess when your team is that good, he had a 0% three-point percentage. Does that mean he didn't shoot any threes, or he missed every one that he took? I guess when you play for a team as good as the Lakers around this time, then I guess it's a pretty easy job as a six-man, right? But that seems to be the awards for the NBA season. So all NBA team won here. So Shaq is your center. Kevin Garnett is your power forward. Is it Sean Marion? Is your small forward. Allen Iverson is your shooting guard. And then Stephon Marbury is your point guard. That is your all-NBA team one. Pretty solid list of folks. I don't think anyone is confused or arguing against this cast of people. Moving on to all-NBA team 2. Now, this is where we're going to test my basketball knowledge. I don't have much basketball knowledge. I'm putting it out there, okay? So I'm just going to flip through, and you guys can look at them, and you can see who got what. But Steve Nash on team 2. Wow, interesting. But yeah, here's team 2. All defensive team. We have an all defensive team. Allen Iverson makes it again. Look at there. And he don't practice. All defensive team 2, and Shaq is on team 2. So a lot of the same names that we're seeing here. And then our rookie team, of course, Dwight Howard. A rookie Dwight Howard. That's pretty funny. But yeah, here's your rookie team. Is there a second rookie? Oh my God, there is. Wait, what is that? What is this photo? What happened to him? Man, they just didn't care. I guess they just really didn't care. The quality of these photos, it varies quite a bit. But that is how the teams there stack up. All right, Coach of the Year goes to Lenny Wilkens of the Knicks. Or no. Is this... Yeah, okay, this is his roster. That's pretty confusing. They put the name right by the picture there. I assume that was... Okay, no. All right. Here's the Knicks team that helped him win that award. So, the Knicks had a pretty great season this year, so I'm not surprised. Have qualified for the playoffs. Yeah, I'm well aware. I'm well aware no users did. All right, so it's just going to fast sim through the playoffs, I guess. So I guess we'll just wait for that to finish. All right, y'all, so we are here at the end of the playoffs, and the Pistons sweep the Nuggets to win the NBA Finals for, I believe, the second straight year. They won last year, right, against the Lakers. That was that year, the 03-04 season, or was it this season, the 04-05 season? But they would, we'll see. I got it here. Don't worry. I got it right here. Or I think I do. Oh. No, excuse me. I had the wrong thing pulled up. I was woefully unequipped for I was woefully unequipped for the hurricane season. I thought I would be better here, but I'm not. So yeah, this is the year that they would go back to back and lose to the Spurs. Back to back, or NBA Finals appearances, and they would lose to the Spurs after beating the Lakers the previous year. But in this sim, the Pistons win 2 straight, which, as a Detroit Pistons fan, I am loving that. I am all for that. So let's look at the playoff tree here and see how things went. The Knicks would sweep the Sixers in 4 games and move forward. The Pacers would beat the Celtics in 5. The Heat would beat the Raptors. They would sweep the Raptors, and the Pistons swept the Bucks. Dude, look at the sweeps. Look at this. There's 5 sweeps in the Eastern Conference alone. The Pistons didn't lose a game. What? What happened? The Pistons didn't lose a game in the postseason. Oh my God! And this is the same Pistons team that's what, like 0-12 in the last 4 playoff appearances. Like, what happened? They didn't lose a game. I'm okay with this. Again, I'll take that. But, man, they didn't lose a game. Oh, my gosh. Interesting. Well, so Detroit would move on to play the Heat, where they would sweep them to move to the conference finals. And then the Knicks would go 7 with the Pacers, but the Pacers would ultimately win and move forward and upset the Knicks. And then the Pacers ran out of gas in that series and would get swept by the Pistons. So moving to the western side of things, the Nuggets would go to 7 with the Lakers, who were an 8th seed. Man, we're gonna look at standings, and we'll see how this all played out. But the Lakers coming in as an 8th seed is wild, don't you think? Like, that's kind of crazy. That's how things went for them. But yeah, so that's that. The Mavericks would beat the Spurs in 5. The T-Wolves would beat the Grizzlies in 7. And then the Hornets would go to 7 with the Kings. So on the Eastern side, things seemed pretty set in stone with how the season was going to play out, at least for the postseason, with all the sweeps that we had. But it does appear that in the West it was not that way. So in the semis, Denver would go to 6 with the Mavericks, but ultimately win, and then the T-Wolves would sweep the Hornets. Funny enough, so the T-Wolves make it to a conference finals, and they would lose in 5 to the Nuggets, where the Nuggets would get swept in the NBA Finals. And it didn't seem to be that competitive of a series in Game 2. Geez, 64-60. Lord. Oh my God, look at Game 3. Look at Game 4. What is this Pistons team? That's crazy. Anyway, I guess that is how things stacked up. We can look at the stats here and look at our season standings, and we'll see how things played out. So, in the West, we'll start with the West. The Nuggets take the top spot in the West, followed by the Kings, and then the Grizzlies would take that 3rd spot as the final division leader. And then at 4, we have the Spurs. The Mavericks are here at 5. The T-Wolves are here at 6. The Hornets are at 7. And then rounding out the 8th spot is the Lakers. So just outside of the postseason, looking in, is the Trailblazers, who are off by about a game. The Rockets are out here by a few games. Not much of a playoff race, really. Maybe in that last 2 weeks it was probably competitive, but it dropped off quick. So the Suns are here tied with the Rockets, and then the Clippers fall close behind them with the Sonics, and then the Warriors, and then the Jazz round things out. Considerably lower than anybody else, about almost 10 games lower than the next closest team to them. So that is how the West plays out. And then in the East, the Knicks would take the top spot at 56-26. The Pistons behind them at 52-30. And then the Heat would take that last spot at 40-42. So it must have been a terrible division. I guess we can look at that. But yeah, the Heat take the 3rd spot at 40-42. So they get into the postseason off a losing record. So now I see why teams got swept. Because the Heat were not very good and they made it. The Pacers are here at the 4th spot at 52-30. And I believe the Pacers and Pistons are in the same division. So that was a tight division race. Look at that, dude. The Pistons had a potential to come in as a 4 seed. Interesting. The Celtics are at 5 at 47-35. The Raptors are here at 6 at 44-38. The Bucks are at the 7th spot at 500. And then the Sixers also come in at 500 in the 8th spot. So at the 9th spot, you have the Hawks, who, yeah, this wasn't even a race, man. They were 5 games out of it by the end of the season here at 36-46. At 10, you have the Magic at 33-49. At 11, you have the Wizards at 32-50. At 12, you have the Cavaliers at 31-51. At 13, you have the Bulls at 29-53. At 15, you have our Nets, who finished 27-55. And then at the very last spot, you have the Bobcats at 19-63. Again, nothing really surprising here. I guess it shows a streak. I want to see if out of all these playoff teams there was anything that really kind of... I guess Boston winning 3 games to end the season kind of helped them over Toronto. I guess it kind of gave them that spot if they really wanted to. I mean, they lost, so I guess it doesn't matter. And then I guess if we're talking division-wise, I guess Sacramento's 4-game win streak at the end, that must have given them the edge, right? No, because they were a whopping 11 games ahead in their division, so it didn't matter. Yeah, nothing. This 5-game win streak that Portland went on potentially could have got them into the playoffs, but they did miss, so that's unfortunate. I think they fell short by a game to the Lakers. Um, Dang, dude, 4 teams from the Southwest Division made the playoffs. That's nuts, but this is a loaded division to have to play in. And San Antonio made a good effort to win the division. They tied with the Grizzlies, but I guess if the Grizzlies lost that last game, then yeah, the Spurs probably would have taken that. But and then this 5-game win streak for sure probably put the Hornets in, right? Like it had to have. In the Atlantic, 4 teams in the Atlantic. We're the only team in the Atlantic that did not go to the playoffs. That's pretty hilarious. The only team, and not only that, but we are well over 10 games out of our next closest division rival, which is the Sixers at 500. So again, nothing surprising there. Nothing surprising at all. In the Central here, yeah, I was right, man. So it looks like the Pistons' last win of the season and that 2-game losing streak by the Pacers gave the Pistons the division, which ultimately gave them that 3rd spot, or the 2nd spot, I think, in the playoffs. I don't know if that really would have changed anything, because the Pistons and Pacers did meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, which, if this was real life, bro, and this division race was a thing at the end of the season, and then they met in the Eastern Conference Finals, that would have been crazy. But the Pistons take it. And then Milwaukee's here at 3rd at 500, and yeah, that's that. And then in the Southeast, the only team to make it from the Southeast was terrible. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I can see the articles now in the newspapers talking about, man, why do we even have teams in Charlotte, in Atlanta, bro? They're just, what's wrong with these teams? They suck. The Magic are terrible. The Heat are the only team that's worth keeping in this terrible division. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I get tired of people seeing how bad a certain division is and how good another one is, and they think that's grounds for realigning the entire league. It's just a down year for the Southeast Division, I guess. No one wanted to play basketball this year. But that is how things stack up. I guess we can go through and do comparisons now for records like I did in the Hurricanes season. So, looking at I want conference standings. Here we go. So, looking at our conference standings, we'll go to the East first. So the way this is different, so the Heat, who went 40-42, in real life went 59-23 and took the top spot in the East. The Knicks, who ended up taking the top spot, actually would finish 33-49 and miss the playoffs. So that's hilarious. The Pistons, who did finish second in real life, went 54-28, and in this game they went 52-30. So it's about the same for the Pistons this time around. And then, yeah, that 3rd spot going to the Heat originally went to the Celtics, who finished 5th here at 47-35, which is 2 games off that they finished in real life. They would finish actually 45-37 in real life. So I don't even think that would have won them their division. Yeah, so the Knicks won that one. So yeah, that wouldn't even have mattered. The Pacers at 4 is 2 spots better than they would actually finish. The records are about the same. The Pacers would actually finish 44-38. The Raptors here at the 7th spot. In real life, the Raptors would miss the playoffs and go 33-49. So they had a better year through the sim. And the Bucks finishing 500 is considerably better than where they finished in real life. They would finish towards the bottom of the East at the 13th spot behind the Raptors and go 30-52 and miss the playoffs, obviously. The Sixers going 500 is about on par. They would go 43-39 in real life and take the 7th spot, not the 8th spot. So the only team here that I guess is different that did not make the postseason here is, the Bulls would make it to the playoffs in the season. And in this game, they won 29 games. So, not all that similar. And then Washington would also make it to the playoffs this year, and in the sim they went 32-50. So I guess this is kind of what I was talking about with the ratings here. I bet these teams are rated pretty poorly. Like the Bulls are probably like a 74 overall or something. Or same with the Wizards, but in reality, in real life, they actually had a much better season. So for NBA Live 06, it's probably a little bit more accurate and fair, and it probably would have been a little bit better, but it's fine. It is what it is. Atlanta, who finished just outside the playoffs, I mean, not really just outside because they were 5 games out, but at 36-46 in the 9th spot, in real life, they were the worst team, probably in the entire NBA, winning only 13 games, which is wild. That's got to be a franchise low for them, right? It has to be. But they finished 36-46, so I'm sure any Hawks fans out there would enjoy that. And then the last I want to see the Cavaliers who went 31-51. In real life, they would go 42-40. So I guess they really weren't that good this year. LeBron is still very young. I think this is his second year in the league. So it's understandable that they weren't a very complete team. They were never really all that great with LeBron in his initial run with the Cavaliers. It wasn't really until LeBron came back in the 2010s and we had the 17 straight rematches between Golden State and Cleveland that the potential of LeBron and the Cavs was fully realized. He just had to go to Miami first to really figure that out. Now, looking in the West here, we'll look at the West. The West. So the top seed originally went to the Suns, who did not even make the playoffs, which I think is wild. I didn't even realize that. When I was a kid, I really enjoyed the Suns because of Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire and stuff, but I wasn't even paying attention here. But yeah, the Suns went 39-43, which is a far cry from their 62-20 record that they would actually have in this season, and they would finish first in the West. But that spot belongs to Denver, who originally would finish as the 7th seed at 49-33. So they get a huge improvement here from the sim. Sacramento takes the 2nd spot, and in real life, they where are they? Where are they? They're hiding from me. Yo, for real. Oh, they're there. I couldn't even see them. I'm looking at the table. I couldn't even see them. They finished in the 6th spot at 50-32, which is pretty close to where they actually finished. But they actually won their division over Phoenix. So, yeah, I think it's over Phoenix, right? Right? Is that who it is? Yeah. Yeah, they won over Phoenix, so that got them the 2nd spot. And then the Grizzlies, who finished in the 8th seed originally at 45-37, finished in the 3rd spot at 52-30. So they have a better outcome as well. But Spurs, who are here in the 4th spot, originally finished in the 2nd spot, about 7 games off from where they finished in this sim. They would win 59 games and not 52. The Mavericks here at the 5 spot is 1 spot worse than they actually finished in real life, but the record is considerably worse. They won 58 games in real life, and in the sim they only won 49. The T-Wolves did not make the playoffs in real life. They're only about 5 games off from where they were, though, so Timberwolves is kind of, I guess the season they had with the sim is kind of originally what I wanted with the Nets, right? Like a team that was like a fringe playoff team, and then, hey, if the sim gets lucky or unlucky, they could make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. That's what I wanted with the Nets, but it ended up happening to the T-Wolves. So, lesson learned. The Hornets, who finished as the worst team in the West, made the playoffs. So the Hornets originally finished 18-64 this year. They would finish 46-36. So I guess they must have gotten inflated from a previous year's rankings going into this game. So enjoy that, Pelicans fans. Unless do Charlotte Hornets fans now claim New Orleans Hornets years, or are they thought of as two separate? Right? Like, is it like a Ravens-Brown situation, or like a Winnipeg Jets-Coyotes situation and Thrashers situation? I don't know. But there you go, Hornets or Pelicans fans. They made the playoffs. The Lakers, who would also miss the playoffs this year at 34-48, following their loss in the finals to the Pistons, of course, would make the playoffs barely here at the 8th spot at 43-39, which is about 10 games better than they originally finished. So, looking at the original playoff seeding, I guess the big outlier here, the big kind of like, oh, that's interesting. Well, there's 2. So the Sonics would be that 3rd division winner in this season, but that is not what happened. It's not what happened. Seattle finished 36-46, a far cry from 52-30. And then the Rockets would also finish in the postseason. They would take the 5th seed at 51-31, but they went 39-43 in this. So that's how things shake up differently as far as playoff seeding is concerned. The Jazz actually had a pretty similar season. They finished 1 game off of what they finished in real life. So sorry, Jazz fans, but you suck. At least in 04 and 05, you sucked. Other than that, things are pretty much... the Warriors also finished 1 game off of where they were in real life. They would win 34 games, not 33. So, but that's about all, I guess, as far as standings go. We've spent enough time there. I don't know if... I'll show our player list, I guess, or our stats, whatever, and we'll just see if you guys really are curious. What, you want points per game? I mean, Jason Kidd's going to lead everything, I think. Oh, here. Yeah, Jason Kidd is the guy here. Played 75 games. He did have an injury early on in the season, I think, which worried me deeply because the Nets are already a terrible team. And I think without him, they dropped to a 59 overall. It was not good. But, yeah, here are, here, I'll go to points per game. We'll just drop down. So, yeah, here are, yeah, look at Richard Jefferson, bro. He's the next closest, and it's literally over 10 points a game less. So this is what I was talking about. The numbers are just going to be all over the place and just not that great. So I didn't really think it was worth looking at. Anyway. But that's how the season ended here, I guess. We can look at league leaders if you would like to. Carmelo Anthony leads the league in points. Points per game goes to Michael Redd. Field goals made goes to Kevin Garnett. He actually ties with Kenyon Martin on the Nuggets. Field goals attempted goes to Carmelo Anthony. That man took a lot of shots. Percentage goes to Mike Sweetney of the Knicks, who posted 81.8% field goal percentage. That's pretty nice. Pretty good. 3 pointers made goes to Reggie Miller of the Pacers, who was really in a league of his own, man. He that was his record, or not record, but that was his stat to lose this year. 3 points attempted, of course, goes to Reggie Miller. So he again took the most shots by anyone really from that point of the court. So, but percentage goes to Jermaine Jones of the Lakers, who posted a 714 3-point percentage, which is considerably a little bit higher than anyone else. And then free throws made goes to Carmelo Anthony. So does that mean he was the most fouled guy? He was the most fouled player this year? And then, okay, well, this is probably not accurate, right? It's not, there's no, okay, I don't like this. Because these guys all probably played like a game, probably, like maybe, whatever. Rebounds goes to Marcus Camby of the Nuggets. Just 2 points better than Ben Wallace, I guess. But Ben Wallace won Defensive Player of the Year, so these are offensive rebounds. So Shaq, offensive rebounds per game. So he was getting them at a rate that no one else was. He was a monster inside the paint. Defensive rebounds goes to Marcus Camby. So Marcus Camby here again, bro. He was a rebounding machine. And Ben Wallace drops all the way down to 5th. But hey, he won the hardware, so I'll give it to him. Rebounds per game, again, goes to Shaq. Rebounds in general goes to Marcus Camby. Carmelo Anthony's here at second, so that's pretty cool. And then rebounds per game goes to Shaq. We're not surprised. Blocks goes to Ben Wallace, which I think is what probably won him that trophy. That man was a blocking machine, a blocking fool. He did it at an alarming rate that no one else in the league was doing. Steals goes to Andre Miller of the Nuggets. The Nuggets got a lot of representation up here, man. They were a good team. Just to get swept in the finals. Can you believe that? Steals per game goes to Rafael Alston of the Raptors. Assist goes to Andre Miller again. Man, he's up here a few times. Assist per game goes to Sam Castle of the T-Wolves, who's tied with Tony Parker and Jason Williams. And then minutes, Andre Miller played the most minutes this year, and Carmelo Anthony is right behind him, with Marcus Camby behind him, and then Kenyon Martin behind him, and John Barry behind him. So the Nuggets are representing here. The Nuggets start at 5. They're representing strong here at the top of the minutes. Minutes per game, Shaq was playing the most minutes of anybody in a game this season. And that'll round out for your league leaders. I like how they do that list. I don't think any other game really does a list like that. So we could look at team stats, I guess, just see like efficiency and stuff, but I really don't think it matters that much. Geez, this is confusing. 03-04 playoffs? Jeez. Okay. But no. I'm just going to overlook the team stats because, again, there's not much to really look at here. You see the league leaders. You saw who stood out. You saw how we did. But that's going to do it for the end of the Nets season. Yeah, not good. Not great. Much like hockey, basketball will probably come back in the fall. I'm not sure which one. I might pick one of the other, basketball or hockey, to bring back. And I don't know what kind of series we'll do. But I would like to bring basketball back. And represent it on the channel, because these videos did pretty well compared to the other sims and stuff that I did. People like basketball, and these older basketball games just look nice. They don't play as nice, obviously, but they still look nice and are fun aesthetically to kind of watch and play. So That'll do it for the New Jersey Nets 2004-2005 season. I'll try and pick a better team that's a little bit more competitive next time around and not lose 7 straight to start off the season. But with that, that'll do it. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see from this. I'll save the file, come back, I'll let you know, whatever. Or just what you'd like to see from a future basketball series. If you'd like to see a future basketball series. If not, that's cool too. Subscribe or don't. I don't control you. Like or don't. I don't control you. But thanks for watching. Anyway, I appreciate it. And that will do it for the end of this basketball series. And hopefully we will see a return later on in the year.